If I wanted to start a project without modeling a building, how to lay out as we do for the accounting office. I wanted to work with an AutoCAD file directly. I could bring in simply the second floor plan and ignore the context of the building. I don't recommend doing that, but if somebody wanted to, presumably. So let's say I wanted just to learn how to put together that kitchen. I would link CAD file. Let's go to my documents. Assuming I have the floor plans for the building. Let me get to. It's copying down files. So here's the second floor drawing. Oh, it's bloody. Sorry about that. Counting office is on the south side, so I'm rather than rotate the viewport, I'm just going to take the drawing and rotate it. 135, I think we said, yeah. So that puts the second floor, these windows on the south side. So we drew some walls in here. What we don't have is any models geometry, so we need a floor. And this wall in the center here forms a line between the accounting office, between the main space and the the beginning of the two conference rooms to the left of those. So let's look at that drawing. Look at some context. So go to my documents and just look at the CAD PDF drawing of the layout as it's finished. I could extract this page. Let's do that. Select the page, extract file, save as. Just accounting office, right? Okay, so we have this drawing available to us. I want to zoom in on it. So all I'm concerned with is modeling that kitchen. Actually, we have an elevation of the kitchen, but no matter, I don't, this, let's take the layout and just assume we want to work with something like this. We have a base cabinet, a range, sink, dishwasher, refrigerator, fine, right? And then a wall against which they're placed. So I'm going to draw some geometry in this model. I'm going to draw a floor. All right, so I'm going to be rather indiscriminate about it's a generic 12-inch floor. I don't care. We don't need to know the boundaries of it. All right? So now we have a floor. Then I'm going to draw walls, exterior walls. I'm going to accept this unconnected nature of those walls. So they're going to be default 20 feet because I'm not concerned about that right now. Although naturally you would want to. So I'm choosing this generic wall and I'm just drawing a rectangle that is roughly going to enclose the space that we're drawing into. Okay. So if I go to my 3D view, what do I have so far? CAD drawing, floor, 4 walls. 4 walls, right? So I wanted to put windows in there to go to that floor plan. Remember, I haven't, I'm just drawing into the line. Let's turn off line weight and make this wireframe. Line, wall, align wall. Okay, that wall, these are, that's an interior wall, so we should probably change that to 6-inch. I'm ignoring wall type for now. And I'm going to draw a wall along this grid line. It's going to be the edge of my kitchen. Architecture wall. It's changed from generic 6, generic 8 to generic 6. It's drawing center line. I'm not concerned with the wall height at this point, right? And I'm just drawing into the space. And my kitchen is going to go here. Kitchen here. I'm assuming we all, kitchen's going to go here. All right. Let's measure. Let's change to wall faces, measure. We got 18 feet. We got plenty of room to develop a kitchen. I think in the model we have about 14 feet, 12 to 14, between 12 and 14 feet. If you want to simplify, select that wall. Let's just make this 14 feet, right? So that's all we got. That's going to be our plumbing wall. We need casework. First, let's save this and call it accounting shortcut. Office shortcut, because some people are going to need this, judging from the paucity of work I got at mid-semester. Let me load the drawing that I put on the board in class the other day. I'm going to pause this recording. Okay. So the kitchen we want to draw into that 14 feet more or less, from left to right, is apparent here. Let me circle it with a rectangle. This is what I'm drawing, right? There's a plan drawing. So I'm starting from my left, 36-inch base, 30-inch range, 3-foot sink base. All the words I'm saying ought to make some sense to you. If they don't, look them up. Dishwasher, typical 2 feet. We need a filler panel at the edge of the dishwasher if it's at the end of a run in the kitchen. The refrigerator. Maybe I can leave that picture on the screen. Can I do that? I'm not really sure. Let's see. Trying to get back to Revit. Oh, I have to let go of the stupid annotations. So I canceled out of annotation. Now I'm back to Revit, right? And this is happily on the left of my screen. Let's make that a little smaller. And clear, look at that, it fits in that window. Let's clear the annotations. Close my annotation to get back to Revit. Insert, load family. So we had to hide that drawing. It's drawn behind the Revit screen here. So let's do something creative. Let's make Revit a little smaller. So you can see both at once here. Right? Hopefully we don't need much of these 2 pallets. Load family, got to load casework. To recenter everything, just click on Imperial Library here, casework. We need the base cabinets. I'm just loading all of them indiscriminately, except for the vanities. I don't need the vanities. While we're loading things, we might as well load the rest of the elements we need. We'll need a range, a dishwasher, and a refrigerator. I'm going to ignore the sink itself for now. Revit stores those unintuitively in specialty equipment, domestic. Don't ask me why. Mid-range. I'm going to load an electric range because we are responsible, climate conscious individuals. Electric allows us to purchase renewable energy somewhere. Right? That's beyond the scope of this kitchen design. We need a refrigerator and a dishwasher. I'm ignoring the cooktops, which are dropped into kitchen counter. That's a standalone range, right? Assuming you know what I mean. So we have those things loaded, and we need wall cabinets as well, if we get to them. Load family. Let's go back. Imperial casework. We need wall cabinets and countertops. I'll load all the wall cabinets. And we're going to load 2 types of countertops, a plain one and one with the ability to place and modulate the dimensions, properties of a sink, of a hole for a sink. Let's go to the insert and load family. We center this casework countertops. Get a little preview here when you select these things. So that's showing you the counter 2 foot deep with a backsplash. And then we're gonna select that one and the one with the sinkhole. Right. Open. Okay, let's start drawing kitchen casework. Collapse everything here and just open the families. Under casework, we need base cabinets. We need a 36-inch one, so I'll leave it to you to look through these things and understand what they mean. Single door, double door, sink unit, we'll save that for the sink. Single door with drawer, double drawer, and 2 drawer, those can be big. So I'm going to select the 36-inch one. Right. Hit the space bar to just rotate it and just place it approximately. Okay, we need the sink base to escape. Just take it off the mouse there. We need a sink unit. What's the sink? 36. Space, rotate it, place it. Notice I left a space for the range. Okay, let's type in some text here. That's too big. Range goes here. Right, let's do a little arrow. I don't like those arrow types. Let's edit the type and make that a filled arrow. So the range is going to go here. Kitchen, let's change that text to the text I just used. The kitchen goes here. The range goes here. Dishwasher is going to go. Let's make a copy of that. The dishwasher is going to go there. I'm ignoring the dimensions right now. Dishwasher goes here. Refrigerator at end. Okay. So the refrigerator goes here. So dishwasher. That's the sink base. Okay. Let's just load those appliances so that we have them. You normally will build your kitchen in plan. You'll place those base cabinets. Think about the order of construction, right? I'm not, appliances go at the end. So I'm going to bring in, is it here, specialty equipment? Yeah, the domestic subcategories seem to disappear. Let's bring in the dishwasher. Let's bring in the electric range, 30-inch range. And let's bring in the refrigerator. All right. Let's rotate these guys 90 degrees. Rotate. Now, I'll mention this now, but you notice that you can tell, apparently, Revit is giving you some visual feedback to tell you what the front of the range is and what the back of the range is in plan. Same with the refrigerator and the dishwasher. Not so for the base cabinets, right? I can't tell what the front or the back of these things are. Let's talk about that in a minute. Let's select this refrigerator. Oh, overall drawing parameters. Let's change to the scale that we're expected to work at, 1/4 inch. And change the detail level to fine. So a little more detail. You see, we can see refrigerator doors. I'm going to rotate that 90 degrees that way. Okay. So refrigerator, dishwasher, sink base, range, et cetera, right? We need both to work in plan and elevation, so we need an interior elevation view. So I'm going to click on this symbol and load the interior elevation symbol and drop it in. It's this little circle with an arrow on it that indicates which way that elevation is facing. Let's place one over here as well. Okay, so I want to look on this side. I want to look north and south. On this side, I want to look toward the kitchen. Let's turn off this other one. It'll say it's going to delete that view, but that's okay. right? So that allows me to look at, there's a scope line, left to right. I'm looking at the kitchen in that direction. This is gonna look at the kitchen, look at, well, look at everything I've generated so far, according to that scope line, but we'll talk about that later. So if I want to see what I've placed in elevation so far, I can click that arrow, right click and say, go to elevation view. All right, so there's the stuff I have so far. Let's enlarge the scope a little bit here, just so that we can see the context that we're working in. All right. Somehow I guessed which way these things were facing. If I had placed it the wrong way, I would have to rotate it 90 degrees, right? There's one more thing that we need here. I'm just going to move these things a little bit out of my way. I'm not moving them exactly right now. Don't have a real lot of room here, do I? Okay. On the other side of this refrigerator, I'm going to need what's called a filler panel because there's nothing at the end there and I have to place a countertop on top of it. So we need something to hold that up. Let's go back to plan. Casework. Filler. All right, it's not telling me how big that is, but let's drag it in and see. I want to rotate it. And I need it on the other side of the refrigerator. Other side of the dishwasher. Right, so there it is. And if I go to my elevation view, I need it there somewhere. Let's change this to a running out of room. Let's change that to a 30-inch base cabinet. Okay, just to make a little bit more room. So I'm moving these things toward the left. If I'm looking at the plan drawing, it would be moving toward the south. There's my filler panel. Defaults to about 3 inches. That's fine. All right, so that's going to hold up the other side of the counter there. Fridge. Go back to plan. So at this point, that's my kitchen wall. I can start aligning things. So I don't really have 14 feet here. That's why we're running out of room. Let's make that 14 feet to the edge. So that wall's a little bit longer. Take and start aligning these elements against the wall. Go to the modify, align, destination, back of cabinet, destination, back of let's ignore the range for now. I shouldn't be working in wireframe mode. Sorry about that. Let me make sure. Okay, that's there. Align. Okay. So I'm ignoring the appliances. Why am I doing that? Because we're going to dimension these things and explain. There's a cabinet. There's a space for my appliance. Sink base is 36 inches. There's a space for a dishwasher, and that needs to be 2 feet. And then the filler panel itself is 3 inches. Okay. Move this a little bit. Well, let's measure from the end. Let's start. Let's leave 4 inches here. Okay. The range is a 30-inch range, and so the space wants to be 30 inches. Right? If I were to measure the appliance itself, you'll find that it's a little bit smaller than that. And that's because the nominal dimension of the appliance is 30 inches, but the actual dimension is a little smaller because it's got to fit in that space. But from the purposes of laying out the kitchen, what's most important is that that's the space for the fixture be the correct width. Kitchen casework, built-in casework, very unforgiving. If you're off by more than an 1/8 inch, it isn't going to work. Right, so the tolerances for built-ins are very, very unforgiving. Dishwasher, the space needs to be 2 feet, not 2.5. Now I think everything will fit. Go back to the elevation. Okay. These guys aren't aligned yet, but we do have space for them. Let's go back to the plan drawing. And here's one of the few places, I'm just dragging this into place. I can't align it with either side, but I do want to make sure that it fits. Right? So I've only got about 1/4 inch on each side. I can't zoom in enough. All right, if I zoom way in and use the nudge tool, I can see that I've cleared on both sides the base cabinet. Now I can take the back of the range and align it to the wall. I would probably do this at the end, but for now, We're laying out dishwasher, same thing. Let's just move these dimension labels out of the way. That's 2.0. Is that 3-inch? Oops. A little tricky. You got to select that handle. There it is. Let's take the dishwasher and just move it. Zoom in. Notch it a little tiny bit past. Make sure that it fits. Good. Align. Wall. Back of the dishwasher. And then wall the back of the fridge. Got a little more space than we needed. Fridge. Let's move it away. Oops. So if you can see, if I select the CAD file, you can see there's a column there. So we'll probably box that out with a wall. Range goes here. Right, dishwasher is where it belongs. The refrigerator is where it belongs. Go to my elevation view. Okay. Now we need countertops over that sink base, and then we need a countertop to extend the one with the sinkhole from the kitchen base cabinet over to this filler panel. If we wanted to look at this in 3D, you could go to a 3D view. Because there's no ceilings or anything in this space right now. Otherwise, we would have to create a section box and then lower our viewpoint. But let's do that anyway. So in general, a 3D view, if you turn on section box, creates a box around everything, right? That you can box in your model. And most importantly here, I want to take the height. So let's imagine that we had a ceiling, right? The walls are 20 feet high now. I'm just going to take the top of that, and I can move the top of that downward. So now I can see what we're drawing, the kitchen that we're drawing, right? Base cabinets don't have any countertops on them. Filler panel is in there. It would have a front and back, right? I mean, smart thing to do is when dishwasher appears to be near the end of the room, you probably want to flank it with another cabinet, maybe an 8-inch or 12-inch. They do have cabinets that small. Let's ignore all that for now. So now if I wanted to bring in, I'll start in the plan view, and then we'll look at what it looks like in 3D. I'm going to bring in a countertop, right? It gives you a default length. Hit the space bar to rotate it. I'm just going to place it somewhere. Then I'm going to select also my countertop with sinkhole, drag that in and place that somewhere. Okay, so now I have two countertops. I haven't adjusted the position of the length of them. I go to my 3D view and see they're just sort of sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Right? These guys allow me to modify their dimensions. Let's go to the plan view. See, they have these shape handles that allow me to select the width and depth. So now I'm going to move it over to my base, and it does have to align so we can visually snap to the inside edge of that base cabinet. I can also use the align tool to do that. Right? So now we've created countertop, that's the correct length. If I wanted to overhang a little bit this way, I could drag out this edge. Or we could set that later, but let's ignore that for now. So now the counter is the right size. We'll align it back of the wall. 3D view. There's the countertop I just aligned. So if this stuff is granite, or some other expensive, heavy material, you start to understand why the thing needs to be supported on both sides. So let's go back to the plan view. And change the size of this thing. Remember, it has to extend. That edge has to go to the edge of this counter. So I'm going to move it approximately into place. Use the align tool. Make sure that it's telling you that you're selecting the left edge of the sink base. Click once, destination, and edge of counter. Destination, edge of counter. So that's set the correct length of this whole thing. The hole for the sink is not in the right place right now, but we can fix that. So let's align it first to the back wall. And now it's selected again. Right. There's a ton of handles here. Here's the back of the sinkhole. Here's the left edge of the sinkhole. I'm just visually putting it approximately where it belongs. Oh, somehow this thing got shorter. Select the edge of the counter. Go to 3D view. Oh, I haven't saved this. Save this project. That's the wrong project. Let me pause the video because I overwrote something that I shouldn't have. Go to, go to elevation view. Now sink is still, I don't know why that, so, okay. The edge of that counter has to stop at the edge of the cabinet. Have I done it correctly now? Let's zoom in. Yeah, looks like we're all set. The hole for the sink is more or less where it belongs. File, save as. Counting shortcut, yeah. That's enough. All right. Go to a 3D view. So that's as much as we can do in plan. It's important for plan drawing. Layout the casework. I don't, that's the dimension of the unit itself. But the space between them is that first dimension. Kitchen. It's just a label when we started. All right. Elevation. Plan. In the next lesson, we will lay out, begin to set up the wall cabinets. And for that, we need to work in both plan and elevation, more so in elevation.